Hey, Dandy. Hey, Bow. Hey, Vegas Doll. Hey, Brooke. Hey, Violet Glad. Yeah, it's not a cough. It's every time I eat, uh, I spend like the next half hour feeling like I've got a little bit of a bug in my throat. Hey, Jimmy. Conversation on. Hey, Exo. Menthol cough trip? Yeah, probably. I probably should have something like that. Hey, Killface. Able to join today? I assume because it's the weekend you're able to join, Killface? Anyway, just, Jimmy, we figured it out last time, actually. The cast was because he had, hey, Yellow Monkey. Yeah, he had the cast because he, crashed on a jet ski. He crashed a jet ski. Hold on a second here. Yes? Yeah, sure. Yeah. Okay. See you in a few. Bye. Hey, Mark. Yeah, Chantel will need me to run something down for her in a few minutes. She is bringing me a pink drink, though. So, we'll give it a few more minutes. Give it a few minutes for people to come in anyway. Glad you enjoy them, Vegas doll. Pink drink? I forget. It's some sort of strawberry thing from Starbucks. Hey, Melanie. Hey, Harlem. Hey, Vicky. And I'm already drinking a strawberry banana smoothie from McDonald's. Mango dragon fruit refresher with coconut milk. Ah. Shows what I know, Exo. I know there. Sorry about that. I know there is strawberry in it as well. We'll put it again. I got a double quarter pounder meal. I got the double quarter pounder meal. Gonna have the rings again? Probably Jimmy. I was growing up so fast. He is. We're all growing up so fast. Yeah. I'll give it a couple more minutes just for any stragglers to come in. Rye whiskey. Sounds good. Not for me, but... Didn't get a notification. That's weird. Outlaw Star, I have not. Hey, Luna. There we go. Live chat. There we go. Peach drink. Don't forget me. I've heard of Outlaw Star. I've heard of it, Andy. I just never. I've watched so little. Hey, Goofy. So little anime. What? It's not muted? That doesn't mute? Sorry, this is not muted? Kind of anti-trans? Well, that's great. What's this game? Our Life, Beginnings and Always. It is a visual novel. Anime reaction, like, I don't know. More work than I want to put in. Oh, right. What am I drinking? It is a strawberry banana smoothie from McDonald's. Alright, we may as well continue. So, yeah, we are now at 13 years old. Too soon to put me? Could be. Anyway, we'll see how long this one even works. We'll see how long the headset even works for. I know, Mark. I don't like that I order McDonald's so often, but I'm weak. Like Catman? I don't know. The family shopping trip had lasted most of the morning, and you still had to unload everything from the trunk before you could go enjoy the afternoon. You cradled another bag in your arms as you headed towards your house. It was one of the heavier bags from the grocery store, loaded with fresh apples, ripe tomatoes, a bunch of carrots, and even half a watermelon. That does sound like a heavy bag, actually. Ma came out the front door and paused just ahead of you.
It's no trouble.
Need any help with that, Jamie? I can bring it the rest of the way if you want me to. No, I've got it. You were doing fine. It's fine. I mean, that's what I always did. Lazy man's load. Carry as many bags at once as you can. Even if it was large, it wasn't really any problem for you. Molly gave you an encouraging grin and rustled her fingers through your black hair. You set the next bag on the counter. Your older sister began to root around inside for the contents of the side. How much is left? Yeah. Still a few more bags. With a huff and a puff, Elizabeth continued putting away the groceries and you retreated out of the kitchen before you could become the target of her bad mood.
Be careful.
Careful, Jamie. Kevin Smith. I doubt it. You hadn't been looking where you were going and bumped right into Mom, almost stepping on her toes to boot. Sorry. I can give you a pass this time, but be sure to watch where you're going. If you run into the wrong person, you might get your license revoked. She grinned as a bad joke as you continued through the door. Wonky eyes. I can kind of see it. And a creepy smile. She's got a little bit of a Cheshire smile going on. Outside, Ma had started organizing what remained, and putting back any loose objects that had fallen out during the trip. When you stepped up to the trunk beside her, she took in a big breath of air, her dress gently swaying around in the breeze.
That's a shame.
It's a shame we had to spend the morning cooped up in that shopping center. It's a beautiful day, don't you think? You tilted your head to the sky, gazing at the clear blue expanse. Oh, Jamie, the moms are still together. Yeah, it is. You closed your eyes and enjoyed the way the sun warmed your face for a few moments before turning back to Mom to help with the groceries. Oh, hi, Cove. You noticed Mom wave over at Cove, who just exited his front door, his surfboard propped up under one arm. Hey. Let me see. Surfboard and wetsuit. Where might you be off to on this beautiful day? Hey, sleepy bird. Real mommy English. Ma in the streets, mommy in the sheets. Cove instantly startled, not having realized her family was also in here. Even though your mom was the one who called out, you were the one he looked at. He tried to settle down again. He jogged across the pavement to properly say hello to you and your parents. It was decidedly awkward since Cove had trouble figuring out how close to stand to you. The addition of his unwieldy surfboard made the whole thing even clumsier. Close enough, Kina. Thanks, Killface. Careful with that thing, you'll put someone's eye out. Mom chuckled and got a whispered reproach from Ma for it.
Pam?
Pam, please, go easy on him. Go winced. Sorry, Mrs. Last. Don't mind her, honey. It's a beautiful day for surfing. I haven't been out on the waves in a long time. I'm jealous. Yeah, I'm hoping to get a few good waves before it gets dark. Hi, Cove. He had relaxed a lot when Ma spoke to him, but the rigidity came back as soon as you said something. Hi, Jamie. Cove managed to grin. It almost felt like you had butterflies in your stomach. Hey, Brock. Do you want to come hang out there later? You noticed the flush of brown on his cheeks, but that might have just been from the heat. Sure, I'll meet you there when we're done. Cool. When he spoke again, he tried to contain some of the excitement that was clearly ready to burst. It'll be fun. You're not done unloaded, right? Can I help?
No.
This is our job. You go enjoy the beach. Jamie can catch up as soon as they are finished here. Alright, I'll see you. Mark? I mean, his parents love the ocean, Mark. Yeah, bye for now. But yeah, it is an unusual name. It is not a common name for sure. Cove headed on down to the beach with more skip in his step than normal. It was really cute. You smiled softly to yourself at the thought that you'd be joining him soon. He sure seemed to perk up after you agreed to meet him there. I wonder why that could be. Aw, stop shipping! Ma! Now who's giving him a hard time, Lanny?
Josh?
It's different. Mom's face broke into an incredulous grin. In what way? I'm being supportive, and he can't hear it. Mom full-on laughed that time.
Lonnie.
You're the worst of us when it comes to this, honestly. I keep trying to warn people, but they won't listen. Hey, Irishman. Oh, is the audio bad again? Audio cutting out? Alright, screw it then. Alright. For some reason, it just seems like my microphone just doesn't want to work with this game specifically. Hey, kinda sad. It's weird, because like, whenever I recorded my Mass Effect videos, it worked. The mic worked just absolutely perfect. Never had any problems with my mic for my Mass Effect videos. It only seems to be for this, and only the past couple episodes. So yeah, I don't know what it is. Hey, Papa Lou. I only want to help. I think it's fair to say he might need it. Meddler, but you have a point. Right? I agree, though, Mark. It's sort of a Cheshire grin. Mom has kind of just a bit of a Cheshire grin going on, it's kind of creepy. You narrowed your eyes at their teasing, and they simply chuckled conspiratorially before taking more bags from the trunk and heading inside. Once everything had finally been taken in and put away, you got yourself ready to meet Cove at the beach. Game and play? Our life beginnings and always. Black eyes, like a doll's eyes. You weren't sure what you were going to do. He was surfing and you didn't know how. You said the same thing to your parents, and while Mom laughed a little, Mom gave you a smile.
Well...
You'll just have to go there and see what happens. This one, Rick? Yeah. She's pretty. Cove must have been so excited to invite you there that he forgot that you don't surf. Or he's hoping you'll go to watch him so he could show off. Oh yes, I used to do that. I know, hon. I experienced Janie's situation firsthand. I was stuck on the shore too. You noticed what I was doing? Yes, after the very first time. It's not a subtle move. How embarrassing. I was still impressed.
Aww.
Aw, thank you. Jimmy, I don't really know anything about her, but I think I've seen pictures of her, and it looks like it's probably like her bust size is probably like Z cups. Wow, Mom. Hey, what are you still doing here? Go on, have your fun. You're only young once, but don't do anything I wouldn't have. Okay. Nice, Brooke. At your parents' prodding, you hurried to leave the house and head down to the beach. When you arrived at the shore, you were greeted by the crash of waves and the soft calls of seagulls. You took in a lungful of the ocean air and felt your peachy skin warm in the sun. You noticed a small setup nearby with a towel, some sunscreen, and a bottle of water. It must be Cove's. You spotted Cove himself nearby. He hadn't gone out to sea yet. He was just sitting in the sand at the water's edge, his board propped up beside him. You strolled up beside him. Hey, I'm here. I mean, Killface, I mean, like, been a long time since I had mine touched.
Jamie.
He looked up at you with a smile and quickly hopped to his feet. I was wondering if you were still coming. Sorry you had to wait. You don't have to say that. It's okay. You don't live in the same city, Killface. You can't touch it. You can't touch it from 1,000 miles away. Hey, Mel. Then he cast his eyes out towards the waves. I'll stay here and watch you surf.
Oh,
You're ready to spread out your towel and take it
don't
easy.
worry about it.
I don't have to go out. I'll stay with you on shore. Or if you want, you could use one of my other boards. I could teach you. Let's try surfing. I'll do it. Let's surf. Cool. He was settled. Cove left up the shore and then returned with an extra board under his arm in no time at all. You paddled out into the sea where the good waves were. The water was cool against your skin. No, Brooke.
It's nice.
Not too calm, but nothing crazy. It looks perfect today. He smiled at you and you couldn't help but smile back. You felt totally content. Until Cove kicked the water a little too hard and inadvertently splashed you. Hey! Sorry. The apology did not come across as especially repentant, as he was practically laughing when he said it. You splashed him back. You laughed, but waited for an opening for revenge. The second he looked away, you kicked back, spraying him.
Seriously?
Is that any way to treat someone trying to help? I came out here to teach you. And I was just following your example. Cove tried to keep a straight face, but ended up looking away. The water you flicked at him landed in shiny droplets in his hair. Then here's another lesson. He soaked you deliberately this time. He used his full leg and an impressive curtain of water hit you in the face. No feet picks. You lost your balance and scrambled to keep hold of the board. You just managed to stay on, but it was close. Cove winced. Are you okay? That wasn't what I was trying to do. I'm fine, but we should do the real teaching. Yeah. He chuckled awkwardly and shook some water out of his ear. With that, Cove started telling you all the tips and tricks of how to stay on a surfboard. He demonstrated both good and bad posture and explained where you needed to put your weight. Like this? You wiggled your body so that you were more in the center of your board. Cove nodded. Yep, just like that. The little lesson continued and... How good should the lesson have gone? Hey Mark, don't be a dick. Just, try just... Especially the bit, like... Okay, Mark, I don't even like dogs. And even I realize that bulldogs are actually very gentle-tempered by nature. Like, they're often trained to be... It's the owner, exactly. I don't like dogs at all. But I've read enough to know that bulldogs are absolute sweethearts. It's just they often get trained to be brutal, to be mean. And it's the same with pit bulls. Pits are the same, Mark. Pit bulls are the same thing. By nature, they are sweethearts, but because of the fact that they have strong bites, there's a tendency among jerks, among bad people, to train them to be violent. Nah. That's sad, Melanie. You kind of struggle. Cove tried as best he could to help you improve. It was difficult for the both of you to work it out, though progress was made. Occasionally, he reached out and touched you to more directly help get positions right. It felt nice. But if you acknowledged you noticed his touch at all, he would instantly pull away. Since you weren't truly ready for it, Cove never pushed you to start taking on full waves, which meant he didn't either. Instead, he stuck by your side in calmer seas to assist with your practice. There was no disappointment on his face over how things played out. No feet, Jimmy. Even if you hadn't reached the point of doing any real, serious surfing yet, it was still a lot of fun. Many laughs were shared between the two of you. Hey, Ravishing. What an afternoon. The setting sun was visible on the horizon. Every time you would look away, it had sunk a little lower. The beach was darkening, but still pleasantly warm. You knew you should get out of the water before it was completely dark in the sea. You rode one last wave to get back to the beach. There, you picked up your surfboard and gave it a quick once-over. Cove followed behind you to the shore. He put his board with his other things and grabbed his towel to start drying off. As he ruffled his hair with the towel, you watched the sunset together. The colors were beautiful in the distance, and the shadows around you deepened. Second pedicure? Cool. There was no need for words between you two, as you both enjoyed the sight for a moment. Cove broke the silence. The waves were good today, I think. Perfect for surfing. He nodded mildly. You chatted a little more until the conversation truly died out, and all you heard was the rhythmic sound of waves. Then Cove sighed. The day can't be over. Not yet. He scowled into the distance as if the sun exiting the sky was a personal offense. Don't you think it should be longer? Only a shrug could express your feelings on that matter. Cove stood up straight in defiance at the approaching darkness. I'm not going to go home yet. I want to go somewhere. I don't know. Cove was still dripping in salt water, so you weren't sure what the alternative was. Wetsuits were fine for the beach, and not much else. It wasn't a good idea for him to lug his surfboard around town either. We'll sure be welcome anywhere soaking wet like this. No, Jimmy. Harlan, if you like beaches, then yes, living right by a beach would be pretty great. Stop talking about my feet, damn it! Cove finally took note of his current state and laughed. He shrugged. Then he looked down the shore with wide, shining eyes. There's at least one place that's always okay to hang out in, no matter what time it is. The park. You nodded. The park was virtually always empty. Even Elizabeth only went over there nowadays if she was looking for you. I actually forget the exact size. I think I'm like an 8.5, I think. How times have changed. She used to be so protective of the place. In fact, the only person there was a chance of running into might be that Jeremy kid again. You brought the idea up to Cove and he cringed. But I'm still going. The sun is still there a little. I'm staying out as long as it is. I've tried Anonymous. It didn't really work. You tagged along. Okay, let's go. Cove took him. Hey, Junior John. Cove took a minute. Hey, Casey. Took a minute to put his stuff in order. He made sure to get it all, though he didn't take much care to shake the sand off. Hey, Rose. You dealt with your own things. You, you stuffed everything together quickly. I'm done, Cove. He rolled his eyes with a bent smile at the announcement. As a final touch, Cove plucked his glasses off the beach and put them back on his face. He looked more like himself now. He led the way down the beach to the park. It wasn't far, so it didn't take you long at all. The sun still hadn't completely disappeared just yet when you made your arrival. Cove stuck his surfboard upright in the sand and tossed his towel over the top. By now, the two of you were mostly dry. The summer breeze in your skin kept you pleasantly warm. You people are goddamn pervert freaks. Cove idly went over to the monkey bars. He grabbed them, feet flat on the ground, and pretended to go across. He had definitely grown in the past few years. You could barely use the monkey bars yourself. There wasn't much space at all between you and the ground. When he got to a bar in the middle, Cove pulled himself up and through, then sat on top of the bars. His legs dangled off the side of the bar he perched on. What am I playing? Your life, beginning, or our life, beginnings and always. You took a seat on the swing. You sat right down on a free seat and started swinging your legs. First slowly, but then you added more power to your kicks. Air rushed past your face and ruffled your hair. You built up enough momentum to let it carry you. It was a lazy arc, not high or fast. Perfect for having a conversation. Guess what? Chicken butt! He smiled broadly and raised an eyebrow. He's not here. Right. It was true. There wasn't a single sign of Jeremy. Looks like it was just going to be the two of you tonight. Killface, our life, beginnings, and always. Cove hung his head and groaned dramatically. Your eyes widened when he whipped his head back up.
No way.
I can't believe how dumb my parents are for forcing me to come to this stupid place. You were taken aback and blinked for a second before you realized he was quoting Jeremy. $2. Why don't I just give up? Thank you, Smirk. Thanks, Smirk. Ugh, parents don't know anything. Cove chuckled back at you, amused. You looked around. The old park, the streets you knew like the back of your hand, and the beach, these were your stomping grounds. You wondered how Cove actually felt. How much was his joke just a joke, and how much was sincere dislike of this place? Moving had never been his choice. Do you actually like this neighborhood? Okay, give me a couple minutes here, guys. Chantal's here, so I just gotta... Only 20 viewers give up. Gotta run something down to Chantal. And thank you again, Smirk. Thank you for the donations. Thank you for the super chats. Sorry guys, give me a couple more minutes. I'm still not seeing the thing Chantel wanted me to run down. Smirk, you're a man-child. Thanks, Smirk. Hey, Janet. Sorry, maybe it's all on Chantel on you again. Okay. Okay, everybody, I'm back. And okay, so making accusations. Okay, so that's gonna be a block. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that last super chat, I was like, yeah, that's the kind of thing I'm gonna block. Honestly, like, just insulting me, sure, whatever. The insults, whatever, I can deal with that. But the accusation, nope, I am not putting up with that shit. Alicia, some asshole kept super chatting to insult me, telling me to give up, calling me a man baby, a man child, and anyway, do you actually like this neighborhood? Do you really have to ask that, Jamie? Cove kicked his legs carelessly as they dangled. He smiled softly. I like it here. I really do. It's a nice place. He didn't hesitate. There was no one to... Oh, hi, Sam. That was his genuine opinion. You want to be left alone? Okay, Sam. Sam was in here, and I was gonna pick him up and show him on camera, but no. He didn't want to be picked up. Well, of course. I'm here after all. Cove flushed and started kicking his legs wildly like he was running in place. Terrible. Your cat does high fives? Aw, that's cute, Vegas doll. And Vegas doll, I'll ask Chantel to unblock you. It didn't take long for the day to finally draw to a close. The sun was gone, and it was dark. You chatted a while longer, but it was definitely winding down. I wish days were longer. I wish this day was longer. His feet kicked out. It made him look like a pouty child. Oh well. Cove sighed. It was time to go home. He hopped down from the monkey bars with a thump when his feet hit the ground. You stopped moving your legs and stood when the swing slowed down. The chains rattled and the swing smacked into you a bit, its energy not entirely swung. Cove grabbed his surfboard and threw his towel around his neck. With his water bottle in hand, he was ready. Huh? Well. Did I miss something from her? Oh, yes, Hot Mess Life, yes. This is a visual novel. You both began your trek up the road. It was a quiet night, and you didn't run into anyone else. In what felt like no time at all, you had reached your street. As you walked, Cove smiled to himself. It was a soft expression, and you couldn't help but wonder what put it there. Oh, hey, J-Dot. I almost missed you. I would have missed you if I hadn't seen other people responding to you. Hey, Ghoul. Everything okay? I just remember when we were younger. It used to be such a big deal to come home after dark. You could indeed recall. If you got sandy, your parents would have something to say. If you got wet, your parents would have more to say. And if you came home after dark, well, your mom's and his dad better have said it was okay beforehand. You used to need permission for everything. That small comment he made exposed just how much freedom you really had this summer. Hey, Strawberry. Cove looked up into the sky, a smile still on his face, as the two of you walked side by side reminiscing. When you came to your house, you turned to each other. Thanks for today, Jamie. This was definitely an interesting experience. Cove waved and you both turned around to your respective houses. This was a pleasant end to the outing, you thought. Hurrah! Want to go thrifting, looking for new Halloween decor? Cool. Alright. May as well keep tackling this in order. Growing. Early one afternoon, you found yourself in the living room with your family. It was another one of those summer days where it felt too hot to go outside, but it was too uncomfortable to do anything inside either. The air conditioner was cranked up as far as you could negotiate it, but everyone was still being pretty lazy. You, your moms, and sister were lounging around while the TV blared on in the backdrop, ignored by all of you. You, specifically, were... sitting cross-legged on the floor. You looked at the windows at the backyard, not that there was anything of particular interest to watch. Sounds cool, Vegas doll. Elizabeth broke the silence with a loud groan. You glanced over. She was lying on her back over the couch, massaging her calf with one hand.
Ugh.
Ugh, I feel terrible. I'm dying in this house and my legs hurt. Mom looked up from the magazine she'd barely been flipping through and frowned, concerned. Could you have strained them somehow? Elizabeth flailed briefly, then flopped onto her side with a heavy sigh. I don't know, it just hurts. I've never really done thrifting, Killface. Not something I've ever really done. My zodiac sign? I'm an Aquarius.
Sweetie.
Oh, sweetheart. Ma got up from her seat at the kitchen table and walked over to your sister. She did a light pat on Elizabeth's shoulder sympathetically. I'm sorry you have to deal with that. Maybe it's growing pains? You could be taller by next fall. Elizabeth scoffed. She didn't look impressed by Ma's assessment. I'd rather be my height forever than deal with this. Mom walked over too, leaning against the back of the couch. Kids, they grow up so fast. Soon Elizabeth will have a home of her own. Maybe even with a nice husband and some kids if she feels like it. She sniffed loudly and wiped her eye, but you could tell that it was just a bit. You tilted your head. Even though you knew Elizabeth liked guys, it was hard to imagine her with a boyfriend or husband. Sure, J-Dot. My birthday? It was back in February 6th. She only seemed invested in hanging out with her group of friends, not chasing after boys. Ma must agree with you because she shook her head.
No.
Let's not exaggerate, she's still practically a child. But if you ever do pursue romance, Elizabeth, you can come talk to me about it. Definitely, we're always willing to lend an ear. Elizabeth's features contorted in disgust.
No.
No way! I am not talking to my moms about that. Mom's jaw dropped, and she gasped in an exaggerated display of shock. Her hand came up to rest against her chest. Ma only grinned. She didn't look offended by Elizabeth's quick response at all. It really wouldn't be so bad to come to us. I know what it's like to have a crush on a pretty boy or two. I don't, but I can listen anyway. So Ma's bi and Mom is full-on lesbian. Mom snorted at her own joke, while Ma bursted into giggles. They were having a little too much fun at Elizabeth's expense. Elizabeth certainly wasn't feeling the amusement because she rolled her eyes and sat up.
Thanks.
I'm going back to my room. I'd rather melt alone, thanks. Cartoon Fight Club? Rings a bell, J-Dot. I think I've heard of it. She strode off towards the staircase, taking the steps two at a time. Your mom stared after her, then turned to each other with raised eyebrows. Whoops. Looks like we scared her off with all that romance talk.
Well?
Oh well, we'll get her next time. You watched them titter with some surprise. Obviously your mom's like women, but you had no idea that Ma liked guys too. Today was the first time you'd heard her say something like that. Ma, I always thought you only liked ladies. You like guys too? Ma turned to you, happy to bring you into things now that you'd spoken up. She smiled and nodded. That's right, I like both. But I like your mom most out of everyone. She's special. Yeah, I think I heard about that, cringy. Hey, Pajama. Ma's smile turned all soft in the corners, like it usually did when she looked at her. She pinched Mom's cheek lightly. I don't know who Jeff the Killer is. Hey, Luke Cat. Either one's awful, Killface. Hey, Grinchy. Both options are just goddamn awful.
You're bad.
Oops. Mom reached up a hand to cup a hand over Ma's. Even when Ma stopped pulling her cheek, their hands remained clasped together.
You're fantastic.
Thanks, Lani. I think most women have charm, but no one can hold a candle to you. I had McDonald's, Shaydot. Just a double quarter pounder.
Aww.
Aw, Pamela.
You're bad.
Aww.
Ma beamed, then kissed Mom on the cheek she'd been pinching before. You thought the moment was very sweet. You smiled to yourself at the sight. No matter how often your moms expressed their feelings for each other, it was always nice to witness it. Ma looked back to you, letting Mom's hand go with a brief squeeze. She settled down next to you, and Mom followed soon after. You know, I'm also here to listen to you whenever you're ready. That offer isn't just for Elizabeth. In fact, I think that talk might be needed sooner for you. After all, you already have someone, isn't that right? Mom shook her head and elbowed Ma, but it was futile. Meddler. You also elbowed her. Ma only giggled and smiled, not looking the least bit apologetic. There's no rush, of course. You can take all the time you need to figure out what, or who, you want.
It's okay.
Don't think you have to stick with whatever you come up with right now, either. Life's nice like that. It can change, and you can learn. Mom nodded her agreement. The two of us are happy to hear you out. We may be able to relate better than you think. Still, we won't push the topic, at least most of the time. She gave Ma the weakest scathing look possible, while being unable to stop grinning. Thanks. I'll think about it.
Wonderful.
Good. That's all we ask for. Mom let out another exaggerated sniffle. It didn't take a genius to realize it was fake. First Elizabeth and now you, Jamie. Do you have to grow up? Yes. Children tend to do that from time to time. Your parents quickly grew absorbed in their conversation about rearing kids. You took that as your cue to leave, getting up so you could spend some time alone in your room, too. They let you go without problem, so you made your way up the stairs. You let out a sigh once you stepped into your room. It was just as sweltering in there as it was in the living room, possibly even a little warmer. Because it's upstairs, warm air rises. What is this game? Our Life Beginnings and Always. You couldn't even open your window since it was hotter outside, and you just let the AC out. You dragged your feet as you crossed the room. You checked your current sweltering condition in the mirror as you passed by it. You thought back to the conversation you had downstairs, about growing up and all that. After a moment, you stepped a bit closer to the mirror. You stared into it, then turned away from the surface to look down at yourself. You were definitely growing, all right. It was weird thinking about how you were now, in comparison to what you'd been when you were younger. The objective? There's no real objective. It's just, like Killface said, it's a narrative story. When it came to your body, it was slender. You shifted to the side, your head still facing forward and continuing the self-evaluation from this viewpoint. Well, here's a choice. Never heard of it, J-Dot? I mean, I imagine most people haven't heard of this game, frankly. Anyway, which way should I go? Pretty much, Killface. You can, yeah. It varies. You can choose whatever you want. Choose whatever options you want at any point. Hey, Icky. Cringy? Sort of. It's limited, like, it's somewhat limited, how the story changes. It is still going to be, generally going to be a fairly linear narrative. It's more just the exact nature of how the story plays out. There are some things that change. You can change a little bit of it, but it's similar to a Choose Your Own Adventure. It's not quite as... It doesn't go in as many wild directions as, like, the Choose Your Own Adventure books. Oh, hell no, Icky. There's still tons to go. Anyway, any thoughts on what my character's assigned sex should have been? No one wants to... I think I only read one of the, I think I only read one Choose Your Own Adventure book. Alright, suppose I'll go with female. You were assigned female at birth, and what you were born as impacted the way your body grew, but it wasn't what really determined who you were. When it came to your figure, my character's only 13. Your chest was flat now, but that will likely change at least a little as you got even older. You tried to imagine what your adult self might be like. Your fingers brushed over your cheeks as you stared at the freckles dusting your features. It was as if they had quadrupled in the summertime with all the extra sun. Crunchy, I've heard that argument before. But, like, nah. You took a step backwards, finished with your impromptu inspection. You locked eyes with your reflection, cocking your head to the side. All things considered? You didn't look too bad. A slight smile tugged at your mouth. Sure, maybe you wouldn't be a model or anything, but you weren't half bad. You shook your head roughly, putting thoughts of what you were turning into out of your mind. This wasn't the time to focus on such things. You had to find something to do in this heat. You shuffled over to your bed, collapsing onto the mattress. Your brows scrunched up in thought. Time passed slowly, and to your annoyance, possible ideas about what to do were few and far between. You weren't sure how long it had been, but eventually you heard your mom call you from downstairs. Jamie! There's a call for you. Cove wants to come over, is that alright? You perked up at the word, sitting up in bed. You yelled back to her immediately. Yeah! I've tried Arby's. I think I've tried Arby's once, and I don't even remember what the hell I had. You got to your feet and headed downstairs, eager to see your friend. It is on one of Chantal's lives. You need to go downstairs soon anyway, because your empty stomach told you it was almost time for lunch. Just as you reached the bottom of the stairs, you saw Mom put the phone back on the receiver. She glanced at Ma, leaning her hip against the kitchen counter.
What a pickle.
Well, here comes trouble. We better prepare ourselves. Ma clicked her tongue in clear disapproval of Mom's words. He's such a good boy. Cove never wants to cause trouble. He can just be a bit thoughtless and impulsive. Oh, I know. He's very sweet, but that's what makes it more of a problem. The stranger, some kid from school, was egging Jamie on to behave badly. I think we can both agree that they'd do the right thing in the end. But if Cove Holden got into a reckless mood and wanted Jamie to be a part of the ride, can we really be certain of what they'd make then? Of what call they'd make then?
Yes.
Yes, we can, Pamela. Jamie would do whatever Cove wanted.
Lonnie.
Hey! Your ma giggled freely at Mom's reaction. You worry too much about those two together. Look, all I'm saying is that I haven't forgotten that time when they were kids and tried to run away together. And there was that time they snuck out in the middle of the night when Cove was supposed to sleep over. Ma just laughed. As she turned away, still snorting, her eyes met yours. She blinked in surprise, then waved at you with an easy grin. Mom looked over, noticing you at the foot of the stairs as well.
Oh,
Oh, I didn't expect you to come down already, Jamie. I just wanted to let you know what was happening. Mom is cute. She kinda is, J-Dot. I like Ma over Mom, but... Do atoms have gender? Well, no, atoms don't have any level of sentience. No self-awareness. The moms are fond of blush. Clearly. You called Mom out on her comment. Well, if I hadn't come now, then I wouldn't have heard everything you said.
Pam.
Ooh, you got caught, Pam.
What?
You were saying things too. I didn't say anything I wouldn't have told to Jamie directly. Oh, you're unbelievable. Fair enough, Icky, fair enough. You shook your head at your parents, even as you thought a blush when you remembered just what they'd been discussing. All right, you got me. I'm sorry for being gossipy and saying that about your friend. I can be bad too.
Let's go.
We'll get out of your way now. Mom sighed in mock defeat and made her way down the hall. Ma followed after her with a hushed giggle. Now you were alone in the living room, tasked with waiting for Cove. And that was just fine with you. If it hadn't been so hot outside, you would have visited him at his house a long time ago. You took a seat at the kitchen counter and settled in for the wait. As expected, there was a knock on the door a few minutes later. Nothing, J-Dot. When you got up and answered it, your neighbor was standing on the other side. He came in once you stepped aside to let him pass, giving a little wave. You greeted him as you typically did. With a wave. You waved back, closing the door behind him with your free hand. Cove sighed and wiped at his face a bit. You noted the sheen of sweat across his brow. He must be glad to be back in an air-conditioned place, even if he only had to walk across the street to get there. Is something going on? Why do you want to come over? I don't want to do anything, not when it's like this. He gestured vaguely to the humid air hanging around.
So...
I thought I could at least do nothing with you. How do you know I was doing nothing? Maybe I had plans. I didn't, so I called. Your mom told me you were free. He got you there. So much for teasing him. Have you had lunch yet? I was going to do it soon. He shook his head.
Really?
I haven't really felt like eating because of the heat. I probably should have had lunch. I probably should have lunch. I didn't have breakfast this morning. You didn't eat at all? Then you gotta have something now. You urged Cove in the direction of the kitchen. He stumbled after you. Okay. I like it too, J-Dot. Atoms are pretty cool. They are. As one, you headed into the kitchen. You pressed your arms as you glanced around, wondering what you should scrounge up for a meal. I don't want to eat anything that's warmed up. Is there something cold or not cooked? Yeah. After a bit of back and forth, the two of you concluded that you should raid the fridge and cabinet in order to make sandwiches. With that settled, you had planned to decide on the outside layers first. There was a wide variety to choose from, since everyone in your house had their own favorites. There was white bread, wheat bread, sourdough, mixed grains, gluten-free bread, and pita pockets.
Hey.
Could you take the grain one for me? Sure. You reached for the mixed grains, then made your decision. White bread. Yep, it is good. It's a game that I backed on Kickstarter, so I helped fund this game. You pulled out the white bread too, setting both items onto the counter. Then you had to decide what main direction the sandwich would go in. Sweeter style sandwich. Something sweet would be perfect in this sweltering heat. As for the specific ingredients, peanut butter, strawberry jam, banana slices sound like they'd be good. Strawberries sound like they'd be good. Apples, peanut butter, jelly. Actually, no, apples. Yeah, apple slices would work on that. Sitting there thinking like peanut butter, jelly. Oh yeah. Apples would work with peanut butter and jelly. Marshmallow fluff. All right. And I think that seems like a pretty good. See, I got peanut butter, jelly, banana, apple slices, marshmallow fluff, and what was the other thing that I put on there? Strawberries. Honey? Alright, I'll add honey. That is going to be everything. That's already a pretty full sandwich. You nodded to yourself with a quiet hum, satisfied. The two of you bustled around the kitchen, opening and closing things in order to collect everything you needed for your individual sandwiches. You focused intently on assembling your own, for the most part. When you were close to being done, though, you glanced over at your neighbor. Cove was putting his sandwich together delicately, his brow furrowed and tongue sticking out just barely. There were open jars of peanut butter and honey near his plate, as well as a banana peel. So he was making a peanut butter, banana, and honey sandwich on mixed grain bread. I did hear about that, J-Dot. I did hear that they're doing a Winnie the Pooh horror movie. Now that Winnie the Pooh is in the public domain, yeah. That sounded great. Maybe you'd have one yourself a different time. Curiosity satiated, you turned back to your plate and finished your own creation. By the time you were done, Cove had already cleaned up his workstation. He turned to face you, studying your sandwich briefly. He gave it an incredulous look, but didn't question you about it. Good. Done? Yeah.
Cool.
He waited as you quickly returned the ingredients and cleaned a few utensils. Then the two of you collected your respective plates. You both agreed on heading upstairs to hang out in your room. You and Cove entered your bedroom while balancing your food on the plates. Nothing fell, so it was a successful trip. Good night, Samuel. Situation! Evening. Thank you very much, situation type deal. Thanks so much. Cove took a seat on the ground, stretching out on the hardwood floor in an attempt to keep a bit cooler. He immediately took a big bite of his sandwich, chewed, then hummed happily. This sandwich is really good. At least that's something. At this point, you sat down and started on your own sandwich. You nodded. You were enjoying yours too. Obviously, you were a pro at making sandwiches. I'll let her know when she gets home, J-Dot. At least I'm pretty sure she's gone back out. Yeah. She's gone back out, so I'll let her know when she gets home, J-Dot. He leaned back in his hands while chewing and glanced around. His every movement was sluggish. Want to do something? It seemed the plan of not doing anything at all had already worn thin, despite his lack of enthusiasm. Like what? He rolled his head back, looking up at the ceiling. What about Hangman? Sure, why not? Diana, it varies. It depends on the woman. You put your plate to the side and pulled out some markers and scrap paper. As you laid out... Ooh, Pajama Mama, toward the next mukbang. Thank you very much, Pajama Mama. Thank you so much for that. That's very generous of you. As you laid everything on the floor, he scooted back to make more room in front of you. She's on live? Makes sense. Cove picked up one of his markers with his right hand, or one of the markers with his right hand, while keeping a half slice of sandwich in his left.
That's,
Can I pick the phrase? Go ahead, I don't mind. He smiled briefly before he bent over the paper and began sketching the hangman frame. Then he stopped, pursing his lips in thought. He tapped the end of his marker against his cheek. He watched silently as Cove looked down at the paper, up at your face, and then off to the side in a loop. His marker kept tapping against his cheek the entire time. He raised an eyebrow. He'd suggested the game, and wanted to pick the phrase, but it looked like he didn't actually have anything in mind for it. Finally, he put empty lines on the paper to signify spots for letters. Alright, you can start guessing. He peered over. His secret phrase consists of 3 words. The first 2 had 3 letters, and the last had 4. He thought hard about what your first guess would be. Enter a letter of the alphabet. E. Always start with E. You got one. After the first round, you were about to take another bite of your sandwich when a thought occurred to you. I wonder if anyone turned off the TV downstairs. The TV. It was on earlier, but no one was really watching. Then everyone started leaving the living room. I know I didn't turn it off. It might still be on downstairs with no one there. Cove smiled crookedly at that. Poor show, playing with no one around to enjoy it. What was it? You squinted off into the middle distance, trying to recall the show's name. I feel like it was some kind of crime-solving drama? Cove nodded sleepily. His eyes closed, then opened again with some effort. Can you give any specifics? Maybe I can guess it. Well... I haven't played Hangman in forever. You rested your chin on your open palm, groggily thinking as hard as you could. I remember there was a woman with long, blonde hair, I think? She was the one solving crimes, like, as a detective or something. There were scenes in a police station. Because someone got arrested? You lapsed into silence, the both of you thoughtful. Then Cove chuckled. It wasn't that funny, but you joined in the laughter anyway.
I don't know.
I don't know what that is. Me neither, and I just saw it. Letter of the alphabet. Go with T. Good guess. Another round came and went, and Cove grumbled as he readjusted himself. His features were twisted in a grimace. I feel so sticky. Ugh, I'm gonna be stuck to this floor forever now. Hi, Jay. I'll have to charge you rent then. Yeah, how much? $50. Letter A.
What?
Mike, I can't afford that. Well, you've got to pay up if you want to stick around. Cove shook his head at your terrible pun and went back to the game instead of answering further. Then you returned to the game. Okay. Suppose I do need more vowels for the first word. And the... Yep, that's right. Oh crap, I think I can guess what it is. Cove spoke up once more, catching your attention. He was peering down at the piece of paper between you, his expression thoughtful. You know, Hangman is a... you are helping, J-Dog, because the clue you just gave me, I'm pretty sure I know what the phrase is. We'd like to solve it? Indeed, Jay. I know I would like to solve it. Need an R? Yes, I will, Brooke. I'll need a Y, O, U, R, and C. Nope, no N, J-Dog. There's not going to be an N. Icky? MG? Yeah, it's a good point. I haven't seen MG. Or have I seen MG? Why did people come up with it? Why did they play it? Maybe it's what they had instead of real court trials back then. Cove raised a skeptical brow. You bit back a laugh and feigned seriousness. If you got it right, then you were innocent and they let you go. But if you got it wrong, they killed you. He shuddered at your eerie explanation before rejecting it outright.
No way.
That's terrible and not real. You chuckled to yourself and went back to the creepy game. That's another one. By this point, Cove had finished his sandwich. Yours was almost gone too, but now you were getting thirsty. You brought it up to your neighbor. Should we go downstairs to get some drinks? I was thinking that too, but I don't really want to get up. Me neither. Almost, yeah, that is absolutely what it's going to be, Brooke. You looked over at him, narrowing your eyes with false suspicion. But hey, what happened to you not being able to get up ever again because you were stuck to the floor? That's still true. I mean, we're not actually going, are we? I only thought about it. You rolled your eyes and dropped the issue, defeated. Cove grinned a little at your disappointment over his victory. You're really close. Yeah. You're definitely gonna get it. You are cute. That was the phrase that Cove had spent so long settling on. You stared at it. A few correct letters in, you had a feeling you knew what the phrase was. Still, you felt butterflies in your stomach at seeing it, clear as day, on the paper. Aww. Aww. Cove, you nerd. You took in the words for a moment longer, then you looked up at Cove. He had trouble meeting your shocked gaze, a smile settling awkwardly on his lips. His next words left him in a mumble.
I mean...
It was all I could think of at the time. You fell backwards onto the floor from your sitting position. If you were standing, you would have fallen over. You settled for uncrossing your legs and dropping backwards onto the floor instead. Yep. Good thing, it's a very good thing you suggested the A, J-Dog, because I would have gone with an S. Thanks, J-Dot. Damn, Cove. No, you're cute. Cove smiled a bit more, clearly still feeling awkward about the move he pulled. He turned away from you, his cheeks tinted pink. A moment passed between the two of you. Now would be the perfect time to change the subject, but you didn't. He didn't either. Things started feeling a bit more personal all of a sudden. You looked into Cove's ocean eyes and saw yourself staring back. I really think you're cute. Seriously. Cove's features softened at your words, but he remained serious. Thanks. Now kiss? I know. I meant it too. Finally, he broke the eye contact. I've heard at some point you're supposed to start liking types of people. Guys or girls or whoever.
I don't know.
I haven't really noticed that yet. Nothing's changed. Not in a big way, not for everybody. Maybe I have to grow up more. But at least with... You waited, but he trailed off. He wasn't going to keep talking. You frowned, a little disappointed. You wished that he had continued with what he was saying. You shook off the strangeness of the situation and tried to be supportive. Maybe you just don't like anybody. Or maybe you like all types of people. That's normal too. He could be demisexual. Or, what's that term? Gray ace? Cove seemed to appreciate that thought, if the smile that appeared on his lips was any indication. But the expression was quick to disappear. He peered over at you, looking nervous. Okay, what about you? What kind of guy or person do you like? He winced and seemed to be mentally kicking himself for saying it like that. He considered his question carefully. Did you know who or what you liked? You were starting to have physical attraction in a general way. You were starting to have romantic attraction in a general way. But specifically when it came to how you felt towards boys. Sure, J-Dot, I don't actually know what you look like. You found them attractive. You thought you'd be happy with a guy someday. And how you felt towards girls? You found them attractive. You thought you'd be happy to be with a girl someday. My character's a bicon. For people who aren't exclusively male or female, you found them attractive. You thought you'd be happy to be with someone non-binary someday. You returned your attention to Cove. He was waiting patiently for your response. You explained how you felt to Cove. He listened intently, taking in every word as you tried to convey how you felt. He definitely perked up a bit when you mentioned having some interest in romantic relationships. It was nice to have people who supported you when it came to who you liked. And you knew he accepted you for who you were too. He had never treated you differently because of your identity. Then he scratched the back of his head, sheepish. Words were all blurry on phone? Yeah, they would be on a phone, I suppose. To be fair, blurry, baby, that moon baby, that's part of why I read them out loud. It's part of why I read out loud, too. I'm not really sure how we ended up talking about all this when we started out just playing hangman. But it was good, I think. The conversation had a mind of its own. Cove chuckled a little bashfully. He glanced around, clearly scrambling for something else to say. So, have you written anything new recently? Yeah, actually, I'm really glad you brought it up. The conversation took a lighter turn after that, and it felt like you got closer that afternoon. Finally, the blazing sun began to set. To your relief, the air cooled down a bit as a result. You pulled yourself off the floor, as did Cove, with some minor complaint. You both stretched your arms, groaning, and yawned into your hands. You glanced out your window briefly, taking in the soft reds, pinks, and purples of the late afternoon sky. Somehow, you had made it through the scorching hot day in one piece. Cove turned towards you, motioning towards your window with his chin. Want to go outside? It might be better out there than it is here now. Thanks, Moon Baby. Sounds good. I could really use some fresh air. The two of you took your time heading downstairs. You stopped briefly to grab a drink of water, then continued on your way. You stepped outside, one after the other, your destination being the familiar hills behind your house. This time of day it was quiet outside. The flowers blew gently in the wind, petals trembling but stubbornly hanging in there. You felt the breeze cool your heated skin, and you relaxed your shoulders. Cove closed his eyes, releasing a deep breath. I really love it out here. Your opinion sure has changed since you were first on this hill. Cove chuckled, not even attempting to deny your words. A beat passed, but his gaze didn't stray from your own. His voice was impossibly soft when he spoke up again.
Jamie.
I'm glad I met you, Jamie. You're really important to me, you know? I feel the same. Your voice came out equally delicate. From the way his features brightened, though, you knew he hurt you. Then Cove reached over and held your hand without another word. Even as the sun disappeared completely and the sky darkened, you and Cove remained side by side for as long as you possibly could. Alright, figure got time for one, maybe two more of these. J-Dot, I don't know what you look like, J-Dot. The sun warmed your skin from its place in the sky. It's not anime cringy. I wouldn't even say the art is particularly anime-inspired. The sun warmed your skin from its place in the sky, and you closed your eyes, enjoying the mix of the heat with the pleasant breeze that drifted past you. You and Lee had spread out a blanket on top of one of the hills behind your house, and had been relaxing there for a while. Who's Lee? Lee had come over earlier in the day, and while a range of activities had been discussed, from staying home to heading down to the beach, a picnic— oh right, cousin. A picnic on the hill had been the choice you both settled on. A small spread was laid out in front of you, some bottled water, soft drinks, as well as chips and sliced fruit. You sat up and reached for a snack, listening to Lee talk away about the musical she had gotten to see a few days ago. It was unbelievable. There was singing, dancing, and crazy stunts, and it was all done live right in front of my face. I totally forgot about Lee. Between last week and this. Yeah. Lee. The cousin. Will I be your new dad? No. Andrew. No. We would not. No, Brooke, you pervert. Lee is slang. Lee has cute lashes. Maybe one day we could go together. I've got to see more shows like that. You smiled at Lee's enthusiasm, knowing how much she enjoyed singing and performing. This chat is frisky. I know Harlem! And she was good at it, too. You had gotten the chance to hear her sing a couple of tunes, and you knew she put a lot of effort in it. Cute hairstyle? I do like Lee's hair. You also liked to sing, but you weren't very good. That didn't stop you from doing it, though. I wonder if maybe we could put on our own show? Think of how fun it'd be. We could perform for our parents and ask our friends and some other people to come and watch too. It'd totally work. I don't know about that. The idea gave you stage fright. But wouldn't showing off to everybody be fun? The thought of an audience made you feel queasy. She's not unscrupulous. Not really. Okay, that is a weird-ass expression she's got here. Okay, CX? Like, that's just a weird-ass face, right? I'm not the only one who sees that that's a weird, weird face. Who's kidding with what, Gail?
Are you sure?
Are you really super sure? You have so many skills you could show off to the masses. I really don't want to. Sorry. Your cousin seemed a little disappointed, but she nodded and respected your wishes all the same. The two of you lay back in the blanket and laze in the sun, throwing ideas back and forth on what you could fill your time with. The beach was nearby, so you could go swimming or collect shells, or find something to do back at home after all. In the end, nothing was tempting enough to move you from your current position, so you continued chatting with Lee and nibbling on your snacks while the sun traveled in the sky overhead. This isn't a child's book, Gail. It's a visual novel.
Alright.
So, how are your neighbors doing? You haven't spoken about them lately. You knew Lee wasn't talking about your neighbors generally, or down the street. She wanted to hear about the Holdens across the road. It was no secret that she liked to keep up to date on what was happening with them. Or more specifically, Cove. There weren't many other people your age around to talk about. Hey, Mert. They're great. That's exactly what I thought you'd say. Lee gave you a knowing look, and your face flushed with heat. Lee loved to chat about others' relationships, and would always ask you for the details on people you both knew. Hey, did you want to see if Cove would join the picnic? I like it being just us sometimes. Lee lit up, her smile spreading across her face. Yeah, we're the best. The sun slowly began to set, the sky turning a rosy pink and then warm orange. It's too bad Derek isn't in the neighborhood today. I like him. He's okay. Okay is better than nothing. But, speaking of boys we like, what's the relationship status between you and Cove? Is it good? What a jerk. Yeah, it's good. Ah, I'm so happy for you. But, like, really, are you going to be telling him you have a crush on him anytime soon or what? I'm pretty sure he already knows. Pretty sure isn't sure. You should declare it to him. You mumbled something incoherent, and she gave you a pointed look. What a gosper. She is. Surrounded by goddamn shippers. You know that he has a crush on you, too. It's obvious for him. It's obvious for you. Why not just do it? You didn't say anything, wondering about the possibilities instead. The two of you talked a little more about Cove, amongst other topics, and you found that it was nice having someone to speak with about these sorts of things. Finally, you both decided to pack everything up and head back home for the evening. Upon walking through the front door, you were met by your moms and Elizabeth hovering around each other in the living room. Tension hung thick in the air as the three of them turned to you and Lee, frowning slightly. You had interrupted something. Exactly what, you weren't sure. Hello.
Oh.
Hi, Jamie. Hello, Lee. Welcome back. The room fell quiet again, with no one quite knowing what to say. You felt incredibly awkward, but the silence didn't last long. You don't have to stop just because those two are here. There's no reason to try keeping it a secret. Elizabeth was mad, with her arms folded defensively over her chest, but your moms nodded in agreement with her.
Well...
Elizabeth was asking about her parents. Her biological ones. The world spun around you at the news. You couldn't understand. Why was this happening now? When you glanced at Lee, she shuffled her feet uncomfortably, as though she didn't know if she should be there or not anymore. You didn't know either. Your moms had always been open and honest about the fact that neither of them had given birth to you or your sister, but the details hadn't been fully explained before. It made sense that Elizabeth didn't know a lot about her biological parents and wanted to know more. You just hadn't ever thought you'd accidentally stumble into it. Elizabeth looked at your parents expectantly. She wasn't going to let the unintentional interruption derail things. We don't want to keep that information from either of you. It's your right to know your past. But we did want to wait until you asked to hear us yourselves. Well, it's happening now, so... Your mom shared a nervous glance, and Ma took in a quick breath before speaking again. I adopted you from the Philippines when you were just a baby. Yeah, things getting intense here. Elizabeth dropped her arms, her eyebrows shooting upwards in surprise. Wait, I wasn't born here? Elizabeth gives up. She is a cute kid.
No.
No, you weren't. You could clearly see that your sister was appalled by this information. You struggled even more with what to do or how to react. Am I going to have to pass some test to even be a citizen?
No.
No, you were adopted into the country. We took care of things. You're already a citizen. You have nothing to worry about. I followed all the laws when it came to bringing a child into the U.S. Nothing can be held against you. Elizabeth sighed, placated with the information, but still far from happy. Same name as your cousin? Oh, yeah, Harlem. My character's name is Jamie. Who are my parents? As people, why did they put me up for adoption in the first place? Ma softly put her hands over Elizabeth's shoulder, trying to provide some support before she gave her the answer.
I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry, sweetie. Your parents were reported to have died. They didn't go into details on the specifics of how, but you were an orphan. I wish we had better news for you, Elizabeth. Elizabeth was torn between emotions. Her eyes filled with tears as she threw her hands in the air, settling on enraged. Great! So I can never meet them even if I wanted to. Not that I could have anyway, since they lived in another part of the world when they were still alive. Elizabeth turned her back on you and your moms and stormed off, sprinting up the stairs into her room before anyone could stop her. I have to go and talk to her. Ma immediately started to follow her, but Mom gently held her by the arm and shook her head. We should give her a little space to process it all. Your ma's head hung low, but she stopped walking. With Elizabeth now gone, the two of them seemed to remember you and Lee were still standing awkwardly off to the side. I'm sorry you had to see all that. It's not how I expected it would have happened when the time came. But since it's the topic of the day, Jamie, is there anything you'd like to ask? You deserve to know, after all. Lee patted your back and gave you a supportive look. I mean, honestly, my real thought is, yeah, sure, why not? May as well. I want to know. Your parents both nodded in sync to your reply, ready to talk. Sorry, Brooke. No, I was super tired on Wednesday, Brooke. I ended up taking a nap. I was just super tired on Wednesday. So I just didn't have it in me to go live. I can leave if you want to have things be private. I want you to be here. I can do that. Lee shifted a little closer to you in support, and you were glad to have her there. It made you feel a little stronger somehow. You turned to face your parents again, preparing yourself for what they were about to tell you. Ma was the first to speak, her voice quivering with emotion. You were adopted as a baby, 2 years after Elizabeth. We used a different organization that time, and you were adopted within the U.S. We're sorry to tell you, Jamie, your parents had also passed away, and no other family member took you in if there were any. That's why we wanted to wait until you asked. We didn't want to suddenly drop that in your lap. We wanted you to be prepared.
I'm sorry.
We're sorry, Jamie. Lee gave you a reassuring squeeze on the arm to show she was there for you. I'm tempted to go with this one. You didn't kill them, right? Right? I have not seen Legally Blonde. Okay. That was it. Your birth parents weren't alive anymore. It was hard to really process the thought. Thank you for listening, Jamie. If there's anything else you want to know, all you have to do is ask. We'll do our best to answer any questions you have.
Are you okay?
How are you feeling now? Are you going to be okay? Lee watched you closely, as though judging how exactly she should react to what was going on. I feel fine. Oh, welcome back, Killface. I feel fine. You spoke with a refreshed tone, as though you had a load off. Your mom smiled sadly, but you knew they believed you. Favorite season? My favorite season is probably autumn, because it generally starts to cool down. I mean, these are my parents, so... Oh no! The people that I never met and never gave much thought to aren't even alive. Sad? Yep, shame for them. Yeah, shame for the parents, but... for the birth parents, but whatever. Spring is your favorite season? Spring's nice too. No one seemed to have any words after that. You wanted to see Elizabeth. You were worried about Elizabeth. Even though she had been so angry when talking to your mom about everything, you could see she was clearly sad. You headed over to the stairs and up to her room. You left Lee in the living room. It would be best to speak to Elizabeth alone. There was more chance of her opening up to you that way. Waiting in front of your sister's door, you raised a hand to knock on it. There was no answer for a good minute or two, and then you jiggled the handle and you found it was locked. Raising your hand again, you knocked louder this time, thinking she must have her headphones on so couldn't hear you. When she didn't answer the door a second time, it was clear to you that she either still couldn't hear you, or was just straight up ignoring you. It hurt to be shut out, especially right now. September 28th. Happy early birthday, Jada. Happy month and a half early birthday. Hmm. 35? Cool. You went up to your room. When safely behind your closed bedroom door, you let out a heavy breath before heading over to take a seat on your bed. You lay out back in your bed and stared up at the ceiling, tracing the outlines of the old crack and lines up there with your eyes. You had no idea what to do now, so you stayed where you were for a while, thinking everything through. Everyone had been so upset earlier, and you didn't really know what you could do to help. Eventually, the sun finished setting, casting long shadows on your bedroom walls until the outside was enveloped by the dark of night completely. Kentucky stay hot as balls now? Yeah. A sudden knock drew your attention, causing you to sit up straight. When you realized it wasn't coming from the door, but the window, your head snapped towards it. You didn't even have to question who it was. There was only one person who would come tapping at your window, especially at night. You moved closer and looked out, sure enough seeing the familiar head of green hair on the other side of the glass. In only a moment, you had the window unlatched and open for him to enter. Cove pulled himself in through the window awkwardly, groaning before he stood straight in your room and dusted himself off. Cove, what are you doing here? When he saw you, he seemed worried, and he ran a hand through his hair before speaking. I came to the front door. I wanted to just come by, but your moms told me they didn't know if you should be bothered right now, that I should come back later. I know they wouldn't have said it like if you were working on some school stuff or whatever. So I got worried. I thought something bad happened. And then you climbed up the side of my house. He smiled, feeling unrepentant for disregarding your mom's rule.
I mean...
How else was I supposed to get it? You couldn't quite believe he had really shown up for you like this, but then again, you shouldn't have been surprised. He was always there for you.
Are you okay?
Well, what happened? Cove pulled your desk chair next to your bed and sat down, his long legs bent in front of him. You fidgeted a little with your bed covers, not quite knowing what to say, but he was willing to wait. There's a lot going on right now. Cove looked at you in confusion, his eyebrows dipping. What is it? My parents, from before my mom's, died when I was a baby. Moms didn't say how. Maybe they don't know. But there wasn't any other family I could live with, so that's why I got adopted. Without having to say anything else, Cove reached out and pulled you into a tight embrace, his familiar warmth enveloping you. I'm sorry, Jamie. His words were whispered comfortingly into your shoulder. I'm okay. I'm glad you are. Still, you didn't let go. Can you explain everything to me? You nodded softly before taking in a heavy breath and launching into the story. Cove sat quietly and listened attentively, nodding every now and then or taking in a sharp inhale. Silence settled between you as Cove sat quietly for a moment, contemplating everything you had said. ASMR? People have told me that before, Rosalind. I don't know that I know what to do for that. Hey, Gene. What highlights? Discolored moon? Rain highlights? When he finally spoke, his voice was quiet, drifting through the night towards you. Right. I'll be locked. Barring any unforeseen anything unforeseen, I'm sure I'll be locked.
Jamie. I'm so sorry.
I'm really sorry about what happened to your parents. So sorry. He stopped suddenly and took in a deep, shaky breath, and you got the impression he was struggling with what was right to say. I feel bad that I don't feel worse about it. Because I imagine this must be sort of a fairly common thing among adult people. I never knew them at all. They're strangers, even if they did have me.
Jamie.
You're not doing anything wrong. You know that, right? I think that you can be as sad as you want for as long as you want. Or you can feel okay about whatever you want to do. Ooh, Wonder Woman, nice. He sighed and ran a hand through his hair as he looked out towards the window. How far are we in the story? Oh, not very far, Killface. This is like the third segment of being 13. We've still got 18 and 23 to go through.
It's okay.
I guess what I'm trying to say is, whatever you feel about it is how you feel about it. You don't have to force yourself to be different. Hey, Tangerine. I do tend to avoid sunlight, Tangerine. Thank you, Cove. His words had made you feel better, and you knew it was true. You didn't have to apologize or make any excuses for the way you felt about it all. Cove smiled at you a little, and you could tell he was trying to be comforting. The game is called Our Life, Beginnings and Always. And your mom's definitely done. It doesn't matter if you're not blood related, you're definitely family. I can see that, and I hope you can too. You felt the reassurance in his eyes. A knock on the door made you look up, though before you could even move, it swung open and Elizabeth stood in your doorframe. I had McDonald's for dinner. Biggest doll. Princess Leia, cool. Bullet Train, cool. Is that the one with Brad Pitt? Cool. Is that the Brad Pitt movie where he fights a bunch of other people on a train? The trailer I saw for that one did look very good. It did look like a really fun trailer. She walked closer and you didn't quite know what to do, or what she was planning on saying.
So?
Would you mind going? I want to talk to just Jamie. You can come back. It's not going to be forever or anything. Cove seemed equal parts concerned and skeptical. Leaving now wasn't a concept that thrilled him. I want to talk to you too.
Really?
Oh, then we're on the same page. She made a little move-along gesture with her hands and it was settled. Thanks, Jean. You waited until the two of you were alone before fixing her with an inquisitive look. Elizabeth folded her arms, looking you over. Did Mom tell you about your parents too? My birth parents also died. Elizabeth broke eye contact after that.
Sorry.
Why did you want to talk to me? I went to see you and you didn't even answer. Elizabeth raised an eyebrow at the news.
What?
I didn't hear anything. Shutting everything up with loud music was very typical of your sister. You didn't feel much less confused, though. Why did you stop doing that, then? She shook her head, as though the answer should be obvious. I was worried about you. I was the one who brought it up, but I made you deal with whatever was left when I was gone. She's a good sister. She sighed, glancing upwards for a moment before settling on you once more. I want to ask you what happened without everyone breathing down our necks. I'm not mad at you. She stuck up her nose a little at that, but her smile was soft. I'm okay, Elizabeth. It didn't upset me. How are you allowed to be that mature? The lightning spirits in her were quickly gone as she slipped back into the scout. You had to be born in the U.S. to become president. What? You had never heard of that dream of hers before. She noticed her bafflement and continued. I get I was never going to be president, but it just feels weird, having stuff taken away, not even getting a chance at it. I don't like having to know that when I was born, I was going to have a completely different life. So different I can't even think about what it looked like in my head. I could have spoken another language, lived away from everything I've ever seen here, had someone else as my sibling. And then my parents died, and I was adopted, and the life I got became a totally new thing forever. Wonder Woman on your birthday cake? Cool. I can't go back to what it was, even if I wanted to. A heaviness settled between you and the person who became your sister. I don't really understand. I can't see that other stuff as being my life. The one I have is what my life is, and everything else is only what didn't happen. Elizabeth watched you seriously. She was still trying to make sense of this to you and herself. I don't know why today was the day. Nothing came up to make me ask the question. It was just something I've had in my head for a while. When it was just me and Mom's in the living room, I just kind of said it, finally. And there you go. She shifted from one foot to another, relaxing her stance just a bit. She also spoke more gently. Learning about them and what happened doesn't change how I feel about our family, Jamie. She smirked, fixing you with sharp eyes. I already figured a long time ago that Moms weren't our biological parents. That wasn't news. Technically, one of them could have been related to you. Our moms can have kids, just not both together. True, but I'm not half white or Native Hawaiian, so no, neither of them could have been my mom.
Nice try.
Nice try, smart aleck. Nothing about the family I was first born in would have made me decide that this wasn't my family. If you'd hoped you'd be free of my big sisterly status, don't think you're so lucky. She bumped her shoulder against yours playfully, her lips tilted at the corners.
You'll always be my little sibling.
You hugged her. It took a few seconds, but she gave you a quick squeeze in return. How far along are we? Not very, Courtney Knight. We're a quarter of the way through? Yeah, we're like maybe a little over a quarter of the way through. I think I'm really lucky. Chuckling, she seemed pleased with how the conversation had gone in the end. We should probably head downstairs and make sure Moms are okay. It's been a long day for everybody. You gave her a nod. Down we go. You met up with Cove just outside the room and made the short trip to the lower floor of your room to get your home together. The familiarity of it all felt nice. When you stepped into the living room, you found your moms quietly sitting together at the kitchen table. They both got to their feet when they noticed the arrival, and Ma gave you a careful smile. It seemed they were too concerned to really register that Cove was inexplicably here now, despite being turned away at the door earlier. We're so glad to see you. Excellent. You're watching a visual novel. Hi. Hi, sweetheart. Ma then came over and wrapped her arms around you and Elizabeth, giving you a tight hug. It didn't take long for Mom to join in, putting her arms around the both of you.
Love you.
We really couldn't have asked for better, kiddos. We love you. More than we could ever say.
Aww.
Moms. You were so glad your moms were all right. Thanks, Chemical. I love you too. You let them hug you for as long as they needed, and it was a nice moment shared between you. They both pulled back eventually and grinned at the two of you. You knew then that you all had each other, and you always would. It was okay if you nodded. Hey, I hope you're all right. Lee came up towards you, a soft smile plastered on her face. And are you okay, Elizabeth? Elizabeth rolled her eyes and huffed a breath, and you knew she wasn't used to showing her vulnerable side.
Fine.
I'm doing fine. Lee nodded, though you could tell she didn't quite believe her. Well now, since we're all here, how about we do something together as a family? That sounds like an excellent idea. We should have some fun before the night's over.
Totally!
I love the sound of that. Okay. Cove looked a little bashful, likely over being included as part of the family, but he tried not to pay much attention to it. Why not? You hit the smile that threatened to tilt your lips, knowing that Elizabeth must have been in a good mood if she hadn't even teased Cove for being part of it. And no matter what she could have said about it, you wanted him to be here. He was someone who was really important to you. Who's got a suggestion? It should be something we can do here in the house, with everyone in the same room. We could just put on a movie. That would be wonderful.
Yeah.
Tell? On a date, I think. Or with a friend or something. I don't know. Out. She's out. It's good to me.
Me too!
Yeah. You were happy with watching the movie.
Alright.
I'll cook up some popcorn. The rest of you can pick a movie. Your mom headed off to the kitchen. Ma turned to face the rest of you. What do we have in mind? Everyone else can decide. I'll watch anything. Anything but drama. We don't need any more of that today. There were some chuckles at her joke, and you thought about what you would prefer to watch. I don't know what that means, Northcat. Comedy would be great. Cool. Perfect. With the basics settled, Ma took to sorting through the DVD collection. You didn't notice that Elizabeth was sidling up to you until she was right next to you, aren't you? Since there's only so much room on the couch, I say should go to Jamie and I. This is our day. Wait, I want to sit with you too. I'm small, you won't even notice I'm there. Elizabeth raised a skeptical eyebrow, not so sure about that. Ma stood back up with a DVD in her hand and a smirk on her face.
Please?
I want to sit with the cool kids too. Surely there's room for one more, right? It might be a tight fit, but we can make it work. You could tell that Ma was teasing, and Elizabeth rolled her eyes at where this was going. She had expected an easy victory. I bet you want to sit there too, huh, Cove? Ma tapped Cove on the shoulder with the DVD case. He blushed and dropped his gaze to the floor. There's not enough space for everybody. Lee looked disappointed by that, but it was the truth. Mom came back with a big bowl of fresh popcorn, and you inhaled the smell of the hot, salted snack. What's the skinny? We all want to sit with Elizabeth and Jamie, but there's not enough room on the couch. Mom took that answer in stride and pursed her lips thoughtfully.
What a pickle.
That's definitely a problem. I suppose there's only one solution. Elizabeth and Jamie will have to sit on the floor in front of the couch. That way there's spots behind them and on the floor at their sides.
Yes.
Oh yes, that's fair.
Rude.
What? No! The whole point was us getting the couch to ourselves.
Sorry.
Sorry, that's the cost of popularity. Elizabeth groaned and crossed her arms over her chest in annoyance. Fine. Jamie, you're with me in front. The rest of you can fend for yourselves. There was a mad dash as Mom and Lee raced for the couch behind you and Elizabeth, and Ma put the DVD in the player before joining them. Cove took a seat at your other side of the floor, giving you a small smile. I should have a date? Meh. Everyone seemed quieted down, and the only sounds to be heard were of hands scooping up popcorn and munching it down as the movie began. I don't know. I'm not watching her live, so I don't know if she's crying. In that moment, you couldn't have been more pleased to be a part of the family you had. Okay, that's 2 hours. And 2 hours is about what I prefer to keep these things. Chantel's crying. Is she? Alright, well, I was about to end this anyway. So. Why is Chantel crying? Why is she crying? Anyone know why she's crying? Hey, baby. Yeah, did she say it? All right. So yeah, this was fun as usual. Chantal isn't live. Okay, leaving already. I am leaving, Moon Baby. It's been 2 hours, which is about the limit of what I like to do with this one. Hi, NASA Jen, getting in right under the wire, NASA Jen. I'm just ending it, NASA Jen. You're about 2 hours late. So yeah. What do we got? 1, 2, 7 more episodes of 7 more moments for age 13. This shit's so close now. Nowhere near close. So yeah. Thanks for watching. And I will hopefully see you all tomorrow for my regular live. No, Harlem. It stops at 23. The ages are 8, 13, 18, 23. I think 23 might be, I'm not sure. I have to wait until we get there, but I believe for 23, it doesn't actually even have moments. I think 23 is just that's just the age. Like, you just do the one thing for 23. There is also wedding DLC if you marry Cove. So, anyway, yeah. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.